For time beyond memory, people have experienced at first hand physical, visual, and auditory events which could not be explained, and so it was feared. Today, we call this the paranormal. Our podcast will delve into this world of the unknown. So sit back and join Tina, Jake, Chris, and Bill and journey into the darkness with us. Welcome to Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 16 of Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast. And this evening we have decided to speak to our teammate and horror author, Chris Rush. And he's sitting over there. Billy's nearly asleep. Now we've decided to have a little chat with Chris and see if he lets us into his head. Is that right, Chris?
Do you want to go there?
Well, that could be a very dangerous place to get into.
Do you want to go there, Tina?
Well, I believe that.
But yeah, no, I'm excited with this now because for the listeners, genuinely, the guys have not told me what they're going to ask me, so I'm literally walking into this, or should I say sitting into this, blind as they say. I don't know what's coming.
A couple of times he said, so listen lads, what questions? We just ignored him. Listen lads, what questions are you going to ask? We ignored him. So he didn't tell him.
I like being prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah. Billy.
How you doing? How are you?
Up.
Sorry, I was just thinking there for a second, Chris, of how I'm going to block out the sound for the next 40 minutes.
You won't be able
That's
to.
terrible.
You won't be able to.
I'm only joking.
So listen, wait till I just ask you, how long are you on your eye?
Ooh. 8 years now, actually.
8 years?
8 years.
I remember the
And-
first time we met you. It was just like love at first sight, really,
It
wasn't
was
it?
the two
It really
brothers.
was.
Yeah.
It was actually just so good for the guys listening. That was actually
We
brilliant.
just,
the way that
we just
happened.
hit it off
Yeah.
because we were actually doing interviews, if I remember correctly, for the team, and we had a couple of people lined up, and we met Chris first, I think, and I think when we walked outside, we kind of just went, this guy is brilliant. Like,
Yeah, you told
we
me
really
all.
did.
Or I
Aww.
mean, total great lad.
Aww.
That's
Thanks,
after we stopped
guys.
laughing, of course. But
Yeah. But no, that's actually, yeah, it's 8 years. That's crazy. And the amount of places we've been and things that we've done and experiences that we've had together is actually crazy, isn't it?
Well, we'll get back to all of that.
Yeah.
How long are you doing your writing? First of all, what I want you to tell me is, how did you get into writing the horror? How did that happen?
Very good question. So I grew up with it. I've been watching horror my whole life. Shouldn't be actually saying it out loud, but I was watching horror movies when I shouldn't have been watching them either.
Yeah, well, like
I think
us all.
everybody does
I
that.
know.
Everybody.
Yeah, I think everybody.
But I grew up with it. I love the effect it has on people in regards to what they see and what they hear, and it's not necessarily, there's nothing touching them, if that makes sense, but you still get that jump or that.
It's an escape.
Exactly. But
What would be in your head? What would be the first horror movie that you've seen?
oh Jesus, I'd have to go back. Oh, jeez, that is a good question. I'd say probably Halloween or probably Child's Play maybe. And The Thing. I always remember. I even remember getting my uncle to record it for me.
Did you see Salem's Lot?
I don't think I've seen that until afterwards, until a few years after.
I think that was my first.
For Sam's, what's a great movie.
But Chucky is a good first introduction.
It's a good introduction.
Yeah.
Killer doll.
What age would you have been then?
Oh jeez.
For the viewers.
I'd say 10, 11 maybe.
Oh wow, that's. I was actually younger than that, I think, when I watched.
I
When
probably
you
was.
seen your first one?
I can't remember. It could have been younger, but it's a safe bet to say it was 10, 11, give or take. But I probably was younger, to be honest.
But
But
it was obviously, once you seen it then, like
Oh,
that
stuck with
was
me.
love at first sight.
Yeah. No, horror to me, as I said to you, I just love the effect it has on people. As I said, people come out of the cinema or come out watching the movies or whatever, and some people say, oh, it's disturbing or it's sick or it's whatever it is, or it's scary or whatever. I just love listening to people talk like that because it's something that hasn't physically touched you, or do you know what I mean? It's just sounds
That it
and
has
sights.
that effect
Yeah, exactly.
on a screen.
What's your favourite genre of horror movie? Like, is it the sick and twisted? Is it the gory, the scary, the jump scary, the just
Slashers.
the slasher
Yeah.
movie, just a deep, like, psychological?
If I had to, all of the above, but if I had to pick one, I like the more kind of psychological stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like I keep, and I've no problem saying this, I think Hereditary is one of the best horror movies made in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was made and what it's about, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that you don't notice the first time looking at it.
Yeah.
And the second or third or fourth time when you watch it, you say, oh jeez, I never noticed that. But I really enjoy Hereditary. Love slasher movies, love the gore side of things as well. But the paranormal side, obviously.
Yeah.
I love watching a good possession movie.
And is that like that? Okay, with your genres and stuff like that, and how does that correlate between like what you see in the movies and your interest in the paranormal? How did that cross over?
I suppose it's just, I think they're very closely linked. I think horror and paranormal are very, like, the two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They do.
Because you can name off loads of films straight away, like
Yeah.
Poltergeist, The Exorcist, Ghostbusters.
Even the light-hearted ones. Yeah.
But not straight away you can think of all them, and like even like The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The list could go on and on and on and on. But
Yeah.
I suppose the way I've always answered that question, it's the case of what if.
Yeah.
So if you're watching a movie, you might say to yourself, Jesus, what if that actually was happening to people?
Yeah.
What way would you react in that situation? You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of those, especially the kind of more paranormal side of movies, I guess you agree with this, Chris and Tina and Jake as well. And they kind of they grab your interest in the paranormal, but
Yeah.
a lot of people who watch that cross over to what we're doing as well.
Yeah.
And especially from your point of view, that's why when we first met Chris, I think we kind of just clicked
Yeah.
because he was very knowledgeable even before he joined the team of what
Yeah.
he wanted to contribute, and he
That's
does
it.
contribute a lot.
I appreciate that.
And let's say, so
lying.
when you were there sitting one day, you're just sitting one day and it just went bing, light bulb went off to write a book. How did that happen?
So that's actually a brilliant question. So when I left college, don't ask me I think it was 2013. Left college, no work, no nothing to walk into,
Yeah.
and I actually wrote my first book as a screenplay. So I
Okay.
wrote it from
I was actually going to ask that as well. Like,
Or yeah.
did you you didn't just jump into a novel? Like, if you were
No.
like
no.
just adding to Tina's question when you answer this, just if you can explain to people a little bit how the thought process goes to
Oh yeah.
actually getting into the novel part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Just for me, so I can start.
So you can get out ahead of me.
No, but
now.
honestly, because Tina's question was excellent. If you can just, if you reply to that one and then just kind of give people an idea of how thought process goes from writing
Yeah.
your screenplay or whatever.
So yeah, I wrote
Short
that
story.
wrote it as a screenplay. So basically a script.
Yeah.
So when you left college,
Yeah.
that's when you wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, back in
Okay.
it was 2013, probably summer 2013, and it was wrote as a screenplay as best, like, kind of, go for a movie scenario. Again, it was very kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Very what's the word I'm looking for? Big dream, so to speak. You know what I mean?
You're kind of like an artist. You're picking your palette, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're-
exactly.
Yeah.
And I took now I did no training, no anything like that. I just wrote it.
Did you read a lot?
So were you guided by anybody at that particular stage when you were writing the screenplay?
Probably
was
a
yourself?
little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I did a bit of research online of how you fade out and fade to black and what all that means as regards paragraphs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But all in all, more or less myself, like one of my friends done filming as an actual degree, so I probably
Film
did.
studies, yeah.
I probably did drain a bit of his information as well.
Brilliant.
But wrote it, and the reason I picked the Banshee is because it's something that every Irish person has heard of.
That was such a good first one. That was just
I don't think I
amazing.
expected it to be
Yeah,
as
big.
popular
Yeah.
as it was, to be very fair with you. And And it was just something I said to myself, I want to make it really scary. Like, obviously, we know she's scary as we get, but I want to make it kind of my scary, you know what I mean? So I wrote it, left it so. Long story short, couple of years, so that was 2013, couple of years later, I was advised to turn it into a book because you'd have a better chance of people reading it and more exposure, so to speak.
Yeah.
And touch wood, everything's been good to me, but I just want to answer Billy's question. The thought process of writing, it's evolved a lot over the last 8 years. Like, I go back and I read some of my stuff now and I go, oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you criticise yourself?
I'd
Yes.
have changed that.
Yeah,
Terrible.
that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
It's like I draw a lot, and like when I look at drawings I've done years ago and you look at them now, like you mature into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the word, isn't it? And your books are amazing like that. Like, but
I appreciate that, but like as I'm writing, like I'll have a loosely bracketed ending, if that makes sense, and I'll be working towards that.
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
because you
I-
have to at the beginning. A lot of novelists don't worry about the middle. It's
Yeah,
the beginning and the ending, and then it kind of just
and it's so true. I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll have the bare bones of what I want to cover in it,
yeah,
and I'll have the bare and like very loose ending in my mind.
yeah.
But the story, and this is going to sound so trivial or whatever, but sometimes the story writes itself because the characters, it's like it's weird.
I was actually going to ask you. You know
weird.
your main characters in your book. How? I think Tina and Jake might have the kind of same question about this, but it popped into my head today. How do you build a personality of that person, if you know what I mean? Like,
Very good question, actually.
because it's some like that person doesn't exist until you make them exist.
Yeah.
So how do you
Yes.
give them the personality? Like, is it part of your trait? Like, is it something that's kind of like it's part of you,
It's a very good question, actually.
or is it? Do you draw off people that you know?
I think it's a mixture of everything. Everyday life, what you've seen on screen, what you've experienced in life, and what you kind of expect.
There's none of us in your book.
Well, not by name.
We're not alive if we are in this issue.
But no, it's a lot of what's life
Yeah.
experience and what you kind of expect. Like, take a stereotypical parent
Yeah.
in a situation. You kind of put in the main bullet points of that, but I love twisting. Like, I love basically what I want to achieve is when someone closes the book covers of one of my books is, what the fuck have I just read?
Yeah, no, I think
In a
I
good
think
way,
you've
not a
got
bad
that. I definitely think you've got that, because your stuff it's dark and it's very intelligent writing as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really intelligent.
I appreciate that. Like, basically, I want someone reading that saying that's could happen to me.
Yeah.
And like, this might sound so trivial, but I knew when I was writing my very first book, do you know the way the majority of people now have the sensor lights
Yeah.
outside their premises, their houses or whatever. I made that to be a major role in the book,
Yeah.
tripping on and off and shadows and all that, because I wanted someone when they're reading it to say, Jesus Christ, my lights go off at night when it's just a cat,
Yeah.
probably, you know what I mean? But I still want people to read it going, it's me. And I just want to make, rather than just being words on the page, I want to kind of drill into their heads nearly, and not philosophically, like fictionally,
Yeah.
and just mess with their own fears. That's basically what I want.
You like to get into people's heads
Yeah.
and scare them.
Without
That's
a
what
doubt.
you want.
Without
yeah.
a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Mm.
And the more I can achieve that, the better.
You know what the funny thing is? He's actually one of the nicest people we know.
Teddy bear.
He is. There's nothing scary about him at all.
Your reputation will be ruined. Can you edit this bit out, Billy?
So
Oh, well, yeah.
tell me the names of the books that you have out, just for people listening. Tell me the names and in order.
Oh, no, okay. I might stumble
And a
this
short
one.
synopsis in between of each book as you go
Okay.
along.
So, first one I released was Folklore. Then it was All Shall Suffer. Then it was The Legend of Loftus Hall. Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Then it was 13 Dead, Folklore the Second Tale, Within Their Screams, and then the last, most recent one was Folklore the Third Tale.
Mm.
That's like you know what I love about your books as well. Your titles, like how do you come up with? Because they are catchy. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. They really, really are catchy.
Folklore, I think, was just a complete, I won't say fluke, but I said to myself, what is the Banshee? It's folklore. and I had not genuinely not planned for it to be not see every folklore book is a completely separate book. It's not a continuation. Like you can read the third one without reading the first one. But when I planned to write the second one, or just probably a little bit before, I said to myself, actually, folklores are actually a really good title because you can branch out into so many different things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different aspects of it. As regard titles, I try to take a main component from the story, and if I was telling someone like what's this about or what's the main component, that's where I kind of get the title
You
from.
know, I
You know
think
what I mean?
it's really good the way you do that. Like that's what your titles are fantastic. Like as well.
Yeah, like within their screams now, that's because he's trying to gather why people scream,
Yeah,
and it's within their screams he's trying to find the secret.
it's brilliant.
Out of all your books, which one do you think is the scariest, or which one
Oh,
have you had the
Jesus.
feedback of being?
Geez, that is actually a really good question. I think
Brilliant
the
question,
one I
yeah.
specifically wrote just to be the most, excuse language, fucked up
Yeah,
was 13 Dead.
that's what I thought.
My initial thought before I even put pen to paper was I want to write a book that's just completely messed up.
Is that the one
Right.
you done the read through for us in
Yeah.
the old jail?
Yeah, yeah,
old
that's the
mix?
one,
That
yeah.
was fabulous night. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Mm.
You done the read through.
that was actually 2018, would you believe?
Was it that
Mm.
far
Unbelievable
back?
that
That
is.
was a
That
long
was-
time
I-
ago
I-
now.
Still remember that. And when you were reading it, like the room, you could hear a pin drop in the room.
Yeah,
was
I actually
brilliant.
remember that night really well.
Yeah, because you've done a few readings actually.
Yeah,
You've
and see,
done the horror
that's
fest as well, which is really good.
and see that's when I self edit.
Mm.
I self criticize a lot. Like I'll be reading
I think
through
everybody does
Jesus.
that. That's artistic.
But you do overthink and overthink
Oh,
and
a lot.
overthink. Like
An
you're a
awful lot.
perfectionist when it comes to anything like
Every
that.
artist does that. Everybody does
Yeah.
it. I'm the same. Like musicians are the same.
Yeah.
Obviously, authors are the same and stuff like that. I think
You
everybody
all
who
criticize
creates.
yourselves.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but I don't like. I've got amazing. Like to be very honest with you, I never thought people would, and that's you might think I meant, but genuinely I didn't think people would read it outside my friend group, if that makes sense. But if people have read these, unbelievable.
You've done
distances,
well,
like,
haven't you?
flew.
yes, really, it's crazy.
Mm.
Am I a millionaire? Absolutely not. I'm a double millionaire.
Well, I
No.
don't mean you've done. I
want
don't
to
mean
be
like
one, absolutely.
monetarily you've done well, but you've done well like with your readership has done
That's
really well.
crazy.
Like
It
it's
is,
it's
and
brilliant. 'Cause,
and to every one of them listening there, thank you very much, and the support means a lot. But it's the guys that are sitting here with
don't
me
forget
as
to thank that one person that bought your book.
well. It's myself.
And you have a really good line of t-shirts out as well.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
so shout out to All Things Rotten. He's actually an unbelievable.
He's an
artist.
amazing
Like
artist.
yourself, Billy. You done the. Let's not.
I done the Loftus Hall book, yeah,
Let's
cover,
not
and I
forget
will
that.
never forget that. That's a different podcast.
So, guys, actually, before I was going to mention something about Billy and Tina, because she mentioned it. As regards perfectionist, Billy, do you want to explain to the listeners what am I like to work with?
Oh my God, Chris he's wonderful. He's
Paint the whole
absolutely
Billy
pain in the fucking arse to work with. I must have got. Oh my God, I'd say my WhatsApp probably blew up over and emails when we were designing the cover for Loftus Hall. It was, but what we created in the end worked, and it was Chris's vision.
Yeah.
So, as I'm only creating what Chris sees in his head. Like I have a little bit of artistic kind of license in it, but at the end of the day, it's going on Chris's book, so it's what he wants.
You know, it's
And
actually.
and it is difficult to work with, and it was hard work, and I don't mean difficult in a nasty way. Just getting it the way Chris perceived it, but in the end,
no, I appreciate it because it was
We
actually.
call
sleep-
him, we
many
call him the
sleepless
Team
nights.
Diva.
Yeah, Team Diva. He requests 32 roses and
There's no red
M&Ms
carpet
and
tonight,
everything.
actually. There's no red carpet tonight. Actually,
Yeah. Did you get your M&Ms I sent you?
Well, Jake, actually, I think. Did you bring them in, Jake? I didn't see them either.
What are you looking for?
The M&Ms.
M&Ms.
I had them.
You had them?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Jake
fair.
and me too.
Can't get the help anymore. But
Yeah.
no, it was actually
Well, we
really.
were just making sure they weren't poison, you know, because
But no, it was actually really good working with you, Billy, and like I do fully appreciate. I am a
I loved
perfectionist.
it, Chris.
I sometimes have to say to myself, just let it go, because if I keep tweaking it, it'll never be released.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a
And-
point. There's a point where you can ruin it as well.
Oh,
Like
no,
it's-
100%.
Like in the writing, as in everything like that, you put your hands to in art and stuff like that. Like if you go, you can keep tweaking it, and you
Oh,
get to a point where
100%.
you have to step
You have
back,
to
or
let it
sometimes
go.
you have to let somebody else come in and look at
Yeah.
it and know when
And
to stop.
also sometimes, Chris, you'd run something by, let's say you say to me or whatever, you just want somebody else's opinion to say,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
perfect,
then-
now leave
100%.
it alone.
Yeah, and then you get
And
the
then
happy
you're
accident.
like, okay, I just needed somebody to say that.
I know,
Yeah.
And then you're,
100%.
yeah.
And
You get the happy accident sometimes as well, where something just comes out and it's just like, wow.
exactly.
I'm sure you do that when you're writing. Like,
Oh, 100%. I'll tell you actually a funny story about me writing. So when I wrote the book
please
first,
do, Chris.
try to keep you awake, Billy. But so when I wrote the original folklore book, I was about I don't know the exact figure, but I was about 10,000 words into it,
Wow.
and the file got corrupted,
Oh no way.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
I brought back up.
Oh no way. That taught you a lesson.
Serious?
So that taught me. So for anyone listening, definitely have a backup. Yeah, that was a bit of
Wow,
a kick
that's
in the
horrible.
teeth
And how did you motivate yourself to get back?
now. There was a lot of internal swearing.
It's like,
And external.
what happened to the laptop?
Not laptop still. That's still in the one position now.
It's stuck in the wall. Can't get it out.
But no, it was very much a lesson learned. The file got corrupted. I couldn't open it. So I literally just said, "Listen, I'm gonna have to start
And
all
I
over
know
again."
nothing about losing files.
Oh, you do definitely
No,
do.
no, I do not. No, Gettysburg.
But so what I do nowadays is I double save. So I save it to the laptop. But I've got a kind of master USB key as well.
Yeah.
And I save it onto that as well.
Yeah.
So that is.
You have it on autosave then, so it just saves.
It does that anyway. But
Yeah.
I class myself as a serial saver anyway.
You have
I
to.
do. I actually do. Every couple of lines, I hit save,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's from past experience. It probably is.
Probably is.
And I just hit save.
How many words can you type a minute now, Chris? Just for curiosity.
I'm actually. Would you believe? I don't like in a writing session, as we call it. I wouldn't write pages upon pages upon pages upon pages. If I feel that I'm not writing something that's readable or that's not good, I just leave it there.
Yeah, you have to step back.
I shut the laptop and and I've often been asked, do you write in silence or with something? I write with the TV on in the background.
You right, what?
I write with the TV on in the background.
I don't know why I asked what, because I could have just listened back on the podcast.
I know, but seriously. But no, I do have something on in the background because I
Yeah.
class as if I have the laptop on my knee and I'm typing away like a lunatic. It's like getting a mental break from what you're doing for.
Do you
that.
listen to music when you're typing ever?
So I sometimes do as well,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's
And
like
pray tell, what would you listen to, Chris?
Daniel O'Donnell.
Yeah, we Danny.
Soothing music.
it's a very kind of. It'll be a lot of guitars and a lot of drums, basses.
Nothing too out there.
Nothing too extreme, no.
But yeah, I have to have something on in the background to kind of a mental break for that couple of seconds and then back in again. But to answer Tina's question, the scariest book, I'm not actually sure because I don't know. Because I've wrote about different things, if that makes sense.
So it depends on
It's
what
probably
is their
scariest.
fear.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like
probably scariest to the reader.
it's what's scariest to the reader. And
Yeah.
like I know you asked what are so folklore is about the banshee. All Shall Suffer is more kind of demonic kind of stuff. Loftus Hall, the Legend of Loftus Hall is obviously about the Legend of Loftus Hall. 13 Dead is a lot more kind of dark, occult kind of dark black magic kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's not from experience I made.
Which is the goriest book that you've read?
Oh, I'd say it was 13 Dead,
Yeah.
but I think it's now within their screams.
Oh, cool.
13 Dead was good.
Yeah,
Did you
13
try
Days.
that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed
I love the
13 Dead.
title.
13
But like, if I
Dead.
was ever going to get into a band, that's the name. I would
13
call the
Dead.
band.
I
But
have
your
a copyright.
permission.
I have a copyright, Billy. You're gonna have to
That
pay
right,
me.
Jake,
You're gonna have
sign
to pay me 3 million.
Sign up. It's a great name for a band.
13 Dead. So then, Folklore: The Second Tale was about my interpretation of fairies and
Yeah.
like how evil and all that kind of stuff. Within Their Screams is about a serial killer, and he tortures people. And then the last folklore book was about the Slua, which is to disguise themselves as a large flock of birds and to steal your soul as you're being,
Yeah.
as you're dying and stuff like that. But I'm working on a new one at the moment, and I will say I'm very lazy this year. I usually plan to have one book a year released, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. But that was my goal, but I'm definitely not hitting that this year because I was too lazy.
So this year there's no book coming out.
Definitely not this year. No.
But
you
you're
got
doing
any-
loads of things in the
Yeah,
background.
I
like
have
there's
other
other
stuff
things
going
going
on,
You
on.
have
yeah.
other stuff going on. Yeah, you're a very busy year actually.
Like I've had a lot of let's shout out to the fucking, as I said, the people sitting here. You guys have supported me shitloads. I remember at the Aracon last year in Connecticut, Tina and Jake were nearly standing out in front of people, directing them to me stall.
Well, it was me. Jay
100%.
kept wandering off, meeting the celebrities. Me, I done all the work.
Like one thing I'm not good at is, and I've said it, I don't.
Promotion yourself.
Yeah,
promoting yourself.
I'm okay at doing it online, but face to face, I
You're
wouldn't-
terrible.
Yeah,
You're awful at that.
Doesn't like talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like talking, but not about myself. Well, actually,
Yeah.
after today, no, it mightn't be too bad.
You know what I've noticed as well, which is I love about this team as well, the connection that you and Tina have.
Yeah,
Like honestly, these are like just one person.
we just take the
Bro.
piss out of
You're
each
like
other.
Tina with a beard. Like it's really scary. there's a picture I can't burn out of my eyes.
Tina with a beard.
Oh,
But you know, no, honestly, because like I used to love when you used to go off in your investigations and stuff, and
I
just
travel.
About the
especially
live feeds.
especially when you had the live feeds or the
Yeah.
digital recorders, it was like obviously he's done some serious stuff, but some of
He
the
had some
outtakes
laughs.
and
Yeah.
some oh my
Well, the
god,
thing, you have to remember as well, like you are doing this with friends. Like,
Oh, you
and
have to be
and
best friends,
You
yeah.
are gonna have a laugh.
we've all
And
been
it
so
is voluntary, and it
Yeah.
is, it's our hobby.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
But
Like,
you know
you
what
have
as
to-
well, especially like not getting away from Chris, but this team, like, because we've all been through heartbreak and everyone's been there for each other,
That's
you know.
it.
And it's and we've
That's
been
what it
through
is,
good and
um,
bad. We've all been there for each other.
Like, and that's not to say what we're doing. Like, I'm not saying what other teams are doing is wrong.
No,
Not
no,
going
that's
anywhere
not.
near
I'm not
that.
That's
getting.
the
No,
right-
no,
It's
no.
just the way I look at it. Right, we're going out. We're doing something with friends. Are we going to have a laugh? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when the time comes to be professional, you're
Yeah,
professional. You know what I
exactly.
mean? And a classic case of that was, again, how many times do we have to say it? But we were Loftus Hall was our little.
Yeah.
That's always going to be in our hearts, as they say. But remember the night before the lockdowns had happened, we'd be
Yeah.
having the crack
I know.
in
Yeah.
the canteen for
The
about an
drive
hour.
down.
The
yeah.
drive down.
Down
and
the
the-
Sure, we'd get there. We would
About
be
3 hours, 4
I'll
exhausted
never, ever
before
forget.
the lockdown started. You remember? We'd
I'll
just
never
be
forget when we drove down with Chris. I think it was me, Chris, and Jake once went down,
pain in the face.
and there was a
laughing.
man
Oh yeah, the man.
across the road from Loftus Hall with a lawnmower, and he was innocently mowing the grass. So Chris stops and winds down the window and, excuse me, do you know where Loftus Hall is, etc., etc. I believe the devil's there, and the man goes, oh, but Jesus, I wouldn't go near that place. So Chris goes, we're going
Okay.
into it. So the guy gives directions, says it's the second gate down on the left, and Chris purposely goes to the first gate. Then comes back up to him and goes, where is it?
But you're not meant to be telling those stories.
Oh, now you're a gas man.
But no,
We've
but as I said to
had
you, if you
some
remember back
crack.
then, it's like any lockdown even nowadays. Lepcat, the whole lot of them, you have a bit of a laugh, but when the public arrive, it's
Yeah.
game on. You know what I mean?
And talking about doing investigations and stuff, Chris, because this podcast we're kind of talking to you. What is your disregarding Loftus Hall,
Yeah.
because we do that a lot, and no disrespect to it. What would be your favourite location?
Loftus
and
Hall.
why?
No.
And why? And what's your favourite use of equipment, if you use any
Yeah.
at all? Like, and your best experience. So
Ooh,
3-4 questions in one.
Jesus, how am I going to Billy? So favourite location, Bar Loftus Hall.
I go on. You can use Loftus Hall.
I no, that's because
No, honestly, because we can get back to Loftus Hall, but just
Yeah.
your
because
favourite.
that actually is a good question. But so no, that actually is a good question, but and very hard to answer. But if I had to pick where do I want to go right now, that's the only way I could answer it. It'd be probably the Hellfire Club.
That's exactly when Billy asked that question. Mine, Loftus Hall, Hellfire Club. So same.
And I think, if you're to ask me why, I think it's the notoriety that they both have. Like they're both associated. Like I know we
Darker.
spoke about like Castletown House and all that stuff as well. Like every location we've been to has been absolutely fucking great.
I'll make this easier. Bar, Loftus Hall, and the Hellfire Club. What's your? I'm only joking.
Easier.
I was there getting ready to answer.
I'm only joking.
But I think it's the notoriety with them, like, and it's the kind of yeah, it's
connection
the lore.
with the dark.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
the lore and all that kind
definitely.
of stuff behind it. What was the other question? What equipment do I prefer? Um, I prefer, so for talking, I do like to use your own senses, but if I'm not going down that route, by the way, when I say senses, I mean hearing, sight, smell,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I'm not by any way sensitive, as they
Mm.
say. But I'd say probably the ED meter. I like that a lot.
You do, and you like the PS box.
Yeah. I do actually remind people I like using that, but I do remind people that you can't really rely a whole lot on that one
No.
because with the radio frequencies and stuff
That
like
one would be good with the public. Because with
Absolutely.
the public, you like to be able to hear and see
Yeah,
and stuff like
it gets
that.
more involvement.
Yeah.
Gets more
But the
involvement.
ED meter you always use.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Mm.
that.
So
You,
explain,
you have captured some stuff with it, haven't you?
explain
it's
what
been
the
in-
ED meter is.
So basically, what it is, it's basically a K2 built into a motion detector, built into temperature as well. So it's a 3-in-1 basically. You can get various different types and various different models and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's a good bit of kit. Like it's
How many times has the ED meter just stalled on 666?
definitely.
Like that has happened. Now I don't know, is it a fault or, but that's happened loads of times.
In Loftus, yeah,
In
and people
Loftus.
were amazed with it.
666.
We weren't going to mention Loftus.
No, well, no, we
I'm only
can't.
joking. Only joking.
We'll have to bleep out.
But no, it did. Now again, it could be just complete total coincidence. Absolutely, it could be. But it was just interesting. I think I'd have to look back on the blogs. I think, if I remember correctly, I asked it to go to it,
And it
You
went,
like
and
the
it went to
PS?
it. I think. No, I
You
can't
like
See,
the
remember.
that's
PS box as
hard.
well, don't you?
The what? Sorry,
PSP.
I do. But again, I tell a lot of
only
people
for the publics,
you
yeah.
can't really rely on that a whole lot
Mm.
because, well, when I say rely on it, you'd have to use it.
Oh, did you say that earlier?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
When you were eating, Billy,
you were
me and
Sorry,
Chris
guys, I
were
was-
being serious. Yeah.
I was
But,
chowing down on some food while
No,
I
what I'm
was
saying
talking.
is you can use it once you keep asking the same questions, getting intelligent responses, we say.
Yeah.
But if you're getting just responses, that can be a multitude of different things.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly.
yeah.
So it's knowing how to use it and when to use it is the big thing. What was it? You did ask another question. You said there was 4
I
questions.
have no clue. I actually can't remember. Who's your favourite person to investigate with? Bill. I think actually
who's
I
my
know
favourite person
it's
to
obviously
investigate with?
Tina, because why wouldn't it be? Am I right, Tina?
Here, watch.
You're right,
right.
Billy.
Wait to hear this for an
I'm
answer.
the new
though.
favourite in the team now.
Wait to hear this for an answer. Who's my favourite person to investigate with? Anyone on Paranormal Researchers Ireland?
Oh, except me.
Even Jake's not impressed
mushrooms.
with that one.
Even
Mushrooms.
Jake,
Thank you.
Jake actually, because Jake is here with us, as I don't know if you can tell.
Just taking in your greatness.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Jake, thank you.
Mm.
But no,
Oh,
Jake,
go
let's give Jake a
away.
bit of a shout out though, because Jake
Oh,
has
honestly,
been
yeah.
here. How long are you here, Jake? As in, not in this house. No, I mean on the team.
Too long since Jake.
You see, Jake was with
7.
us.
Is it about that? Yeah.
7, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, because he was with us when he was unofficially with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
But no,
remember? He
but
used
that's
to run after the car and then we'd have to fucking let him in. And
Let
all.
him
Do you
in,
remember
yeah.
that?
That's when we were at the location trying to come home.
Chairs.
well, no. The thing I was trying to say is that he's been with every one of us investigating,
Yeah.
so he has seen.
Mm.
It's probably actually good to ask you that kind of
Jake is
question.
so knowledgeable.
You've seen
in
the
it as well.
different sides and the different techniques and the different ways we investigate as a team. So I think, would you agree you got a good experience from that point of view, or experience, I should
100%,
say?
yeah.
Jake's very technical. That's what I
Yeah.
like Jake. He's really good at the tech side.
Everyone investigates very differently.
That's true,
Yeah.
and I will say this. I have to say it. When Tina, remember, you'd be sent away on your lockdowns.
Sent away.
You'd be sent away.
You'd be sent to your room.
Be sent to your. It would be your sent to the room.
Sent to
Literally,
the
you
room.
would be.
Yeah.
And like be with your group of people, and you know, you might have sometimes you might have someone with you, other times you might not. Actually, I very rarely had someone with me. I don't know if that's because
You were always on your
It's
own.
always
I was on my own because I didn't like people.
the next minute, like the door would open and in stepped Tina.
And
Oh,
I'd
do you
say
remember?
nothing.
Do you remember she walk into a room, you used to shit yourself?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And like you'd be going, oh, please something happen, please something happen. Would at least
Please
And
bang
I'd
or
just be
something.
sitting in the corner.
I'd just be like,
I'm just
oh,
coming in, guys. I'm going to be invisible in the corner. No one knows
At
I'm
least a
going to be
loud
here.
bang or a knock or something or equipment go off because now the boss is in the room with you. You want something to happen.
the boss.
And when she gave you that look,
Well, they
The
had that
boss.
respect for me back in the day.
I think it was more fear.
I was just like, jeez, he's there again.
Yeah, no, she's not the boss anymore.
No.
No, jeez, no. It's me and Jake now.
Excuse me?
But
Fuck off.
I'm okay, thanks.
but
Chris, can I ask
yeah.
you? You were doing the horror and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What got you into the paranormal? How did you think? I want to get onto the PRI team? What got you into paranormal? Because I know you weren't into paranormal.
We
you
did
weren't
talk
into
briefly about it, but
sitting
Tina's
at
question's
home
good.
and doing
Like,
a Ouija board or anything. You weren't doing that.
you won't even let me near
were
one of them.
were you the guy that was running through the graveyards?
No, it goes back to the. I think I have to say it because I think they're very closely linked, but definitely.
Were you at one of our lockdowns?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was actually
right.
Loftus.
Yeah, and how did you end up going to the lockdown?
It was a present. It was a birthday present.
Ah,
Was it a birthday? Yeah, it was a birthday present. I think it was. Yeah.
That's how we all first met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
Um,
don't remember the first time I met you. That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember talking to you actually at the door going in.
Oh, shit.
Seriously, I actually do. But
Oh, I do remember you. I just remember looking at Tina going, who the fuck is that arsehole?
Who's the little lad?
But and I will say this.
Sorry about the language.
I will say this going in, and obviously, I will say this going into it. That was my first ever.
Yeah.
Back in 2016, I goes, God, there's gonna be strings and
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and what did you
I d-
think?
Oh no, very enjoyable. It was
Did
actually
you
it was
enjoy it?
totally
Yeah.
different than what I was expecting it to be. Like I thought there was gonna be speakers, you know, and strings and wires and all that kind
We've
of
had
stuff.
that a few times, actually.
And I
People
was one of
thought-
those people. I
people
thought it was
thought
going to be
that,
that.
yeah.
And because they're setting off the equipment themselves and all. But when I went in and done it, completely different.
You seen how genuine?
Yeah, oh yeah,
If
100%.
nothing happens, nothing happens.
And then after that, we done our little. I think he was advertised,
Yeah.
looking for people. We done our little interview.
And then we done an initiation for you, was it up the Hellfire?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the
Go on,
investigation.
Chris, talk about
Oh
that.
Yes.
Jesus Christ! And she's getting me the little book and everything. Remember? Little
Yeah, like a booklet.
Oh, do you remember
It's
the handbook?
serious shit.
Do you remember the
people
handbook
who-
we had?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
We
God.
still have them out
We
there.
wrote that ourselves, didn't we?
For people listening, I tell you, this was not just you walk onto the team. This was a legit interview, a legit trial period, a legit. You get handed a book and you could be asked questions out of this
Yeah.
at random
Oh, yeah, I
times.
remember the book.
An initiation.
Initiate up in the Hellfire Club.
He had to get naked and hop around 5 times the perimeter.
Videoed, and we still have. That's why he's on the team, because we still have the video footage.
No, go on, go on.
And we didn't know. We genuinely did go up to the Hellfire Club, and it was like literally, it was an
Go to
investigation.
investigate,
It was an
yeah.
investigation, but I think we were given like what was it, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Was
Oh.
that,
To
that
do a
wasn't,
session.
The floor is yours now. How do you do it?
That
There's
wasn't the night
equipment.
that I took us straight to the Hellfire Club, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was really good. And then I think it was a while later when we were literally, again, I know we keep coming back to this, but this is how it happened. We were going to Loftus Hall one night, and you turned around. I was in the back, and I think you were in the front.
You'll never forget this, I
And
know.
we're doing a lockdown, and Tina said, "Chris, you're leading tonight."
That's right.
And I kind of looked at her, going, "What?" She goes, "No, you're leading tonight." And, goes,
Yeah.
and since then, that's when it took off. Then
I
really,
think that was the night then we were kind of, everyone just went, he has to stay, like, unfortunately.
unfortunately.
But the gas thing is, I can't remember doing Loftus Hall without you.
No.
Isn't it
That's-
crazy?
Yeah.
But
that's
you
how
had
long.
started, wasn't it? Like PRI had started in January of that year.
Oh yeah, we had, but then I was on it
A
before
previous-
even.
Yeah,
Yeah,
PRI.
exactly.
Yeah, we had done a few
Um,
previous to that.
But no, it's been absolutely great. Like I love doing all this. As I'll always, like, you guys have been brilliant to me. You're all fucking advertising.
I
me.
still get the same buzz doing an investigation as I did the first
Oh
time.
yeah,
With you guys,
yeah.
it's just like the excitement of it, and knowing that we're all going to get naked. I think it's just
Jesus Christ.
That's just the.
Even
That's the
Jake's
icing on the
looking at
cake,
me, and
yeah.
I'm looking at Jake going, "Is he talking about
oh
the same
sorry,
thing
yeah,
here?"
it's a different team.
But going forward, I'm definitely planning. I'm not
Disclaimer:
gonna,
we are joking.
oh, yeah, disclaimer. I'm definitely not stopping with the horror anyway.
What's next for
Yeah, great
Hoodies.
question.
No, I wanted
I
to.
had said it to you. You need hoodies.
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely delighted with the t-shirts and like seeing people
Baseball caps.
seeing people wearing. It's weird for me to say. I
Your
genuinely,
name.
yeah,
Somebody wearing your
wearing
name.
it. It's not that it's weird in a fucking fantastic way, if that makes sense. I never thought it. Like I've sent them all over the place. You know what I mean? And to see somewhere, I'm going, Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
Well,
It's
it's
actually
the
is
last
crazy.
time I'm jumping into your wardrobe and taking your clothes. I can tell you that, Chris.
What's
Last
next?
time.
I'm definitely going to keep going. I'm not giving up writing horror anyway. That's one thing for sure.
Don't.
Well, you're over in America this year as well at the Paracon.
The Warren Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon.
Yeah, that one. That one.
But listen, let's not forget, you were there with me last year as well, yourself and Jake, and I'll never forget it. You fucking helped a lot with that, carrying in all the
great
gear
fun.
and setting up the table, and then it was a long day, but I loved every second of it.
We would have went again and again.
Yeah,
We were running on fumes at
Yeah.
that stage. That's how tired we were. We had travelled through the night. Do you remember?
oh, it was unbelievable, and
Connecticut. Yeah.
the organisers of that event were phenomenal to work
Yeah,
with. Absolutely,
fantastic.
I just threw my hands in the book and said that. They couldn't have been more beneficial or more.
They're sort of mates now.
Oh, unbelievable! They're
You know
really
what I
good and
mean?
really good people. So I'm back there again this year for 2 days in Gettysburg. Really looking forward to it. I have a Comic-Con the week before we're going.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And
Well,
you
you're
were at
dressing up as
Comic-Con
Chun-Li, aren't
already,
you?
were you? Or,
the HorrorCon, yeah.
Chris, I have a question, right? This is just a question, and it popped into my head there because I know I've read about novelists who do this. Do you have a ritual when you finish a book? Is there anything that you do? Like a lot of people would smoke a cigar or whatever. I
Glass
don't
of
know.
whiskey.
Glass of whiskey. Like,
Sometimes I wouldn't have it like it wouldn't be set. You know what I mean? But I'd partake probably in a beer or a whiskey or something like that.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be the night maybe,
excess,
but it'd be
yeah.
definitely in around the occasion, as they
Yeah,
say.
and well, why not? Yeah, just a question I had.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was at the HorrorCon this year in the UK, which is absolutely brilliant experience as well.
Yeah.
The guys couldn't be more helpful as well.
You're
oh.
very photogenic, I must say.
Yeah. Oh, I want to give a shout out as well to the organisers of the Dublin Alternative Market,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're really good to me as well.
Yeah,
And
you do great thing.
that day, remember yourself and Jake appeared at it there recently. You told me you weren't going to be here, or sorry, was it Tina? You were texting me or saying you might get up to it someday.
Oh, that was good.
The next minute, the two of them walked in the background. I was going, yes. What did you think of the market?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. It's all, as it says, alternative
Yeah.
styles and alternative. Brilliant. Yeah.
There's a lot of talented people in this country. A lot of talented people, which is brilliant.
And they're all making their own.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's
unbelievable.
brilliant.
But yeah, so Chris Rush in a nutshell, I'm obsessed with horror, absolutely love it. Even if the mention of the word or someone's talking about it, I'm in the middle of it. My goal is, don't get me wrong, money's fantastic, I'd love to be a millionaire. But my goal is if someone mentions the word horror in Ireland, I want my name to be in there somewhere. It's somewhere.
It's
in the-
already there.
It's
Chris.
somewhere in the conversation. I want someone to say, have you heard of that Chris Rush lad, or have you read any of his stuff? Is my writing, in my opinion, great? I don't consider my stuff to be fantastic by any means. I genuinely didn't think anyone would ever read my stuff.
And look at it now.
It's crazy. Absolutely
those
crazy.
two people are really, really
It's
happy.
up to two now, Billy. But that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, check out, if you want to check out my page, it's Chris Rush Horror Reader, or Horror Author, I should say.
Ooh.
On all the socials, you get
And
me there.
guys, one more thing I want to add. I know we joke about Chris a lot in the podcasts over the last 15 episodes, but personally, I want to say that he's a top bloke. Like he's just a really nice guy, very intelligent, brilliant investigator, fantastic author, an arsehole to work with, but just an all-round good guy, and it's funny as fuck. We love him here in PRI. I think everyone does.
Thanks for that,
do.
Billy.
Yeah, we do.
We
Appreciate
do.
it. Thanks very much, guys. I won't
I'll
get out through the
second
door.
Well, that's this one. That's episode
16.
16. God. That's episode 16. And I really enjoyed this now, talking to you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Tina and Jake again as well.
And that's me signing off from Tina.
Bill. Jake.
Chris, and as always, guys, stay spooky.
You have been listening to Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast. Intro and outro music, Nothing to be Scared of by Kokoro. Main theme background music, Beast by Edward Carl Hansen. Both intro, outro and main theme music sourced through the Epidemic Sound app. PRI podcast recorded and produced by Jake and edited and mixed by Bill using Adobe Audition. We hope you enjoyed our podcast, so why not join us for our very next Supernatural podcast coming very soon.